Howdy, Hogan neighbors. What's going on? Happy Thursday. I didn't even realize what day it was for a second there. I had to figure that out. But anyway, I hope your week's going well. I hope it closes out strong tomorrow for those of you who have work. Tonight, we're going to talk with another indie creator about a really cool project. It's right up my alley as far as the era is concerned. I'm an 80s dude. As you can see, I'm gray. So that's when I grew up. But anyway, so as you know, we try to promote indie creators on this page, on this show, and we hope that you come out and you join us, and we hope that you support and back because we put our love and passion into this. You know, I've given the spiel a billion times. Anyway, tonight we have creator Jason Lenox with his new campaign, which is Lords of Cosmos issue 5. So, as you know, getting to a 5th issue is a good feat. It's a really powerful thing in the indie world to be able to continue to put out issues and get that far. So, no better way to reward than to come out and support. If you haven't got issue 5, I'm sure as a catch up tier, we're going to go find out. So stick with us. Anyway, without further ado, creator Jason Lenox.
Hey, how's it going, Phil? Thanks for having me on tonight. I appreciate the kind words.
No problem. What's going on?
Well, it's like you said, it's Thursday, and anymore it kind of feels like we're in an endless loop because I thought Monday Night Football just ended, and I see the Giants and Cowboys are playing tonight. So yeah, it is a little weird, right? It's just like football starts to warp my brain. So it's like, wait, it's Thursday? Oh yeah, it's strange. I can't get over that.
Well, you know, it's great, though, that I'm old enough to remember when you just had Sunday football. Then they had Monday Night Football. Then they had Thursday football. So you get, at least you get more than you used to.
Yeah, no, so I'm with you. And I got my buddy here with me tonight. This is my 9-year-old. He's
Hello.
busy playing PlayStation off screen. And,
what game is he playing?
What are you playing here?
I'm playing a game called Fortnite.
Fortnite. It's
Fortnite, of course.
Like yeah.
Popular. Very cool.
Thank you.
And I'm about halfway through my Kickstarter campaign. 16 days left, and it was a 33-day campaign to kind of start when I wanted and then end when I wanted on a Sunday. So it's a little bit more than the recommended 30 days, but I'm in the middle of it right now. So just, kind of out beating the streets, as we all do as indie comic creators, to just hopefully, find a new reader here or there, Phil. So that's really what I'm up to this right now.
My motto is one follower at a time, right?
100%.
So tell us a little about you. What inspired you to do Lords of the Cosmos? What are your influences?
So I've been doing independent books now for 12 years. I've done 13 crowdfunded projects, 9 of which were comics. One was a coloring book, and 3 were art books. And so my inspiration from Lords of the Cosmos comes from all the things I liked when I was his age, right? So a lot of toys and cartoons from that 1980s Saturday morning cartoon, blister packs on the shelves being the most radically important thing in my life. And if I, dial down into that, the shows that really kind of inspire me from, the cartoons, Masters of the Universe, Flash Gordon, Thundar, Silverhawks, Thundercats, right? So that's kind of the cartoon DNA. Throw a little shout out to Transformers and Mighty Orbots and G.I. Joe as well. So those are kind of the cartoon DNA for me. And then as far as the actual, playing with toys, I really like my Masters of the Universe, obviously. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
And really, I had my micro love affairs with all the popular toys at the time, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and then I got into some obscure ones like robotics. I remember really enjoying them. Yeah.
Wow.
So there were some really weird ones, and it was weird. I never got into like the Thundercats or Silverhawks toys, but I see a lot of them now on social media where there's collectors kind of really putting together some, really cool collections of stuff we may have missed because our moms wouldn't have taken us to the store the day it was there, given us an extra $10 bill to buy something. So those were things that I really liked. some other things that are in Lords of the Cosmos that are kind of from that DNA that you'll probably understand really well. As I really loved all those editors boxes from back in the day, like see issue 7 of West Coast Avengers to see why this guy has a whatever. So there's a lot of that in the books, and the more that we
That's
do,
cool.
the more fun we have redirecting people back to prior issues because we think that's a lot of fun. And I like toys, and I love the old toy packaging and the toys from that era. And the two things that I really liked was toys with logos because it, even as a child, soothed my OCD, right? So Cobra had their logo, the Decepticons, the Autobots, they all their little logos. So all the characters in the book have a logo. They have a hero logo or a villain logo, which just soothes my sensibilities. And then the other thing is my friend Erica D builds a toy for every issue as a custom build. And then we put it on the back of the book where we photograph it and then Photoshop it into a blister pack. So it looks
That's
like it's
cool.
hanging on itself. And then the inside back cover is the back of the box. So there's like a little stat column where it tells you the strength and speed and intelligence. Because as a kid, that really tickled my funny bone, right? Like I loved that, and I loved getting the Transformers where there was that little piece of red plastic, so you could what is Soundwave's strength, and you
Right.
could read. And so we really try to bring a lot of those things to the book. And as a reader and a fan, I don't want everything to hinge on the nostalgia. I think nostalgia is fun as an accent, but I've always felt that when we've done these books, they've been strong enough on their own merits, and the nostalgia is kind of like a little bit of spice on the edge.
Sure.
And for guys like us of a certain age, you could say, "Hey, I like that," because that's really like you get a feel, right? But if we took it away, there's still a solid book and a solid story that you don't need that. And I think that's where a lot of nostalgia falls flat for me because it's just like, do you remember that we called the guy the name or the thing? And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you got to give me the solids, right, to put it together. You got to give me the backbone to make it all work. So I think we've done a good job for people of a certain age like us, to have those, like, okay, like I like what these guys are doing. It's fun. But if you were, 16 and read these books, you could have fun because I think they're just good books, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I agree with you. Nostalgia should be one of the spices that you accent a good meal with, but you have to have the meat on the bone. You have to have something that's got substance and depth. Um, so when you created Lords of the Cosmos and you created all your protagonists, your antagonists, etc., did you pull from different people you know? Did you write from yourself? I mean, where did you get inspired with their personalities?
So there's two co-creators, Dennis Fallon and Jason Palmatier. They're writers. So we put it all together, our character Bible in 2016. And what we did, Phil, is we kind of looked at a lot of those classic properties and started to kind of build archetypes.
Yeah.
So, for example, Umex fills the role of the main villain. So Skeletor, Mumra, from Centurions, there was a Doctor, right? There was always kind of that character.
Right.
Skeletor had Evelyn as kind of like a non-sexual love interest type
Right.
for kids. He-Man had Teal, etc., etc. So if you look at our characters, you'll start to I think see like, okay, this character sort of seems like a Starscream, model character, but it's a zombie unicorn, not a jet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the villains have Umex. He's kind of a mutant cyborg, and then he has Obsidious, kind of his number 2 with a big, two-pronged spear. So she sort of fills that role of Evelyn, but it's not. So you're like, okay, I get the role. So I kind of view it as like in the Dollar trilogy, we had a Man with No Name. Then we watched Unforgiven. There was another character that sort of filled the role of Man with No
Right.
Name, but it wasn't. But it was different. So we really tried to look at a lot of those properties that we enjoyed and to kind of say, what's the role? Again, it's like, well, we need a first baseman, a second baseman, a shortstop, a pitcher, etc. But to put in characters that were different, that filled the role, but weren't just copies. So when people read it, they're like, this seems really familiar. right? Like you'll get it. You get that. Okay, so this guy's filling the main hero role, but he's not the same. He's got different motives. He's kind of got a different thing going on, but he fills the role of, Thundar, He-Man, Black
I was a
Star.
huge Thundar
Right?
and Black Star fan. Thundar and Black Star are two of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons, along with D&D. But
Yeah.
Thundar, to me, if they could do it with a good budget, would be a fantastic live action movie. But I love that you're pulling from Thundar, and that you mentioned Black Star is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
The one thing I hated is when we were growing up, we didn't have DVRs, and Black Star was up against Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. They were on at the same time, and it was like, come on, man.
So I remember I really loved Mighty Orbots, if you remember
I
that
remember.
show.
Yes, I do.
And I found out recently the reason that show didn't last was because Galoob, I believe it was Galoob or Tonka, I forget which one, whoever owned the Mighty Orbots sued them into oblivion because they felt the name was too similar.
Really?
Yeah, I watched a whole YouTube documentary on a toy channel about it, and it was the GoBots that got rid of Orbots. But I love that show. The one season it was.
And meanwhile, the GoBots was such a ripoff of the Transformers in content. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, the one season that show, I believe it was on ABC. I kept a legal tablet in my parents' coffee table that had a drawer, and every week I would write the date and the name of the episode on a little legal tablet, put it away, and then the episode. And I love that show. It was really fun. And here's the thing. I only remember catching Black Star here and there, but I liked Black Star a lot. And I've gotten it, over the years, you can watch it on YouTube or whatever. So I do like all those shows. And to me, those spoke to me as a kid. I still enjoy them as an adult. And like I said, to me, Lords of the Cosmos is really about capturing that energy and doing something new with it. Because to me, all those cartoons are kind of fill a role of a genre. And, we have Westerns, gangster films, crime, noir, whatever. So to me, all those things that we're talking about, I've always thought of them as like science fiction barbarians, where there's swords, there's magic, there's guns, there's robots, there's talking animals, there's wizards, etc. And it's okay. It's all kind of extreme. It's all a little bit over the top, but because everything's over the top, it works, right? So we can have a cannibal cyborg because we have a talking cat.
It's supposed to be over the top, right? It's fantasy, right. It's fiction, it's fun. Go for the gold. Why not?
Yeah. So that's really the flavor of this book, is to kind of channel that feeling and vibe that we had and make our own run with it. Now, the other thing I would say about Lords of the Cosmos, the other real DNA for this book, is I'm a huge fan of 2000 AD, the UK anthology comic that's been coming out for a million years. And I love Heavy Metal Magazine. So Lords of the Cosmos, each issue is an anthology. So there's multiple stories in each book that are done by different artists and writers. And it's all in black and white. So we have color covers and we have color photos in the back of the book with the toys. But the inside of it's black and white. So it's very much like if 2000 AD and Heavy Metal kind of got together on top of that 80s toy cartoon theme. So that kind of puts it all together.
Well, that sounds good to me, and we got the campaign here. Congrats, $4,000 goal, but you're at 5,914 with a lot of time left, 16 days left, 127 backers. It's always good when you get those faithfuls that come in,
Yep.
We're going to play the trailer, so let me know. I put the sound on, but sometimes StreamYard's weird, so let me know if there's an issue.
Okay, let's check it out.
Lords of the Cosmos, unite! The Critic Issue 5. Welcome back to Planet Aiden, a land where banished Greek gods, undead unicorns, cannibal cyborgs, and a vengeful dominatrix all wage war over a world run by a planet-sized
Phil, it's struggling.
machine.
It's struggling to play.
What's going on? What happened?
Is turned upside
Can you
down
hear me?
in
Yeah, I
A
can hear it
Day
now.
in the
Oh.
Life, when domination and introspection. During the First Cosmic War,
I don't know what's
a group
going
of
on.
Lords of the Cosmos commandos go deep behind enemy lines to discover the disciples of Umex's latest plan. In Pulse, Part 1, inspired by 1980s favorites like Masters of the Universe, 2000 AD, and Heavy Metal. Lords of Cosmos 5 feature rewards, including variants from Corey Fall, Caesar, and Ignacio Ragnarsson. See why Indie Comics Dispatch says Lords of the Cosmos pulls all the nostalgia strings while managing to also create something new and unique. And Behold the Geek says Lords of the Cosmos is an insane sci-fi fantasy comic that takes no prisoners. Back Lords of the Cosmos issue 5, now on Kickstarter.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I tried to get it to go full screen, and StreamYard wouldn't do it, and then all of a sudden we cut out a few times. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
hard
okay.
lined in, and it's been doing this. I have no idea. All right, so let's get us back to this. All right, I love the voice acting, like the narration for it, and the effect on it. It's 80s, man. It was great. And the music, it was awesome.
The gentleman that did the voiceover is Doug Stone, and he was the voice of Matt Tracker on Mask, Mobile Army Strike Command.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
A friend of mine introduced me to Doug, and I hired him to do the voiceover, and he is super cool. And he has done hundreds of cartoons, many of which we know. But the one that I was freaking out about, I was like, I loved Mask, right? Remember the cars turned into other vehicles?
Yeah,
Like,
I had the toys.
yeah, well, that was him. So you liked him, and so that means you liked the guy from Mask. That was Matt Tracker, the dad, right? And
That's cool.
I got the Cybertronic Spree wrote me a letter and said I could use their music. So they had some original songs on an album. They're the folks that dress up like the Transformers.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they were kind enough to give me their blessing to use their new original song. So we picked one off their album called Ravage. So that was cool. So it was a fun video to make. I like it.
It's very cool. You absolutely captured the feel, which is great.
Thank you.
So tell us, as I start to scroll down, give us the synopsis of the story and let us know what we're in for.
Well, there's the main story, which this is part 5 of that. And so the main story starts up where issue 4 left off, where the main hero, Aegis, has decided that he now wants to go back to war with his enemies one more time. And if you scroll down, we can get to some of the pages, Phil. And so that's called Enemy of My Enemy. So it starts off with the main hero, who looks like a Greek god, firing off a triple bolt of lightning that travels around the world to gather the remaining Lords of the Cosmos that have gone into hiding after their last war. And so his lightning bolt summons them. When they see it, they know to come back to their temple base, right? And so the first half of that story is these heroes being summoned. If you scroll down a little bit more, you see some of the creatures and characters that are in hiding around the world. And so they see the lightning and they know, kind of like the bat signal, it's time to come back to base. But if you scroll down, the lightning also captures some of the villains, or the villains are also seeing the lightning. And then the story kind of shifts, where in issue 4, the zombie unicorn has been sentenced to death by the main villain, and another villain that has not been very fond of that character, which we find out their backstory in issue 4, has been assigned to execute him. And Zemba, who's our femme fatale, just decides to show up, and she disrupts the proceedings. And she basically betrays the leader and initiates a plan to free Psycorn, and mayhem erupts. And then we need to find out why she betrays the other villain. So if you scroll down, her origin story is called A Day in the Life, where we follow her character around as a day in the life of a supervillain. And so we get to just see her day to day being a superpowered baddie. And we learn why she has gotten so angry at the other villains that she decides to take over, or at least attempt a coup. So if you scroll down, we kind of see her going through her torture garden and her gladiatorial games, where she's summoned by the other villains back to their main base before the events of issue 4. And if you scroll down a little bit more, she basically gets chastised and humiliated over some events that happened in issue 2. And all of this causes her to basically break with the villains, and then that plays out in issue 5's main story. But we like to have things happen and then explain them in the side stories. And then if you scroll down, the third story is called Pulse, where we're trying to get to the bottom of what this planet is all about. So we really took some direction there from Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Predator to put our Lords of the Cosmos characters in a 1980s action movie scenario where a group of the Lords of the Cosmos have to infiltrate an enemy base. And they are a hodgepodge of cyborgs, robots, a lizard cowboy, and then some of the villains that are running the base realize something's up. And then by the end of issue 1, it ends up with a to be continued where the good guys have taken over a large truck, like an excavation truck, and they drive the truck into the base, which is a gigantic quarry with a tower over it that's suspended from the edge of the quarry, which is pretty cool. So they're the Lords of the Cosmos sneaking into the base, and they're blowing things up to steal a truck. So we'll keep that going in part 2. So that's kind of the guts of the book. You got 3 meaty stories. We've got 8 different covers, I think. So there's the main cover that I drew with Zemba being kind of the main character of this issue. Koi Pham, who I'm sure you know who that is, Phil. He did this cover for me, which was really cool.
Yeah, great artist. He was at my my last show, actually, that I did.
Cool. So he did that cover. If you want to keep on scrolling. LC Freitas did that cover, and then he did a spicy cover, which is censored as the next one. He's a hoot. He goes, I have it as a nude as well. And I was like, oh, never had one like that, but I figured we'd let it roll and see if people liked it. So my inker, Caesar, did that cover, which was cool. He wanted to draw what his interpretation of the betrayal of Zemba trying to free Cycorn looked like, which I thought really turned out really cool. I really like that image a lot.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
And then there was a gentleman on Facebook that was doing anime artwork commissions, and I commissioned him to do Zemba and Cycorn as 90s anime characters, and I thought that looked really cool.
Very cool.
And then if you scroll down to the next one, I was a huge fan of Bubblegum Crisis, and we did that cover to look like one of the clamshell boxes from the early 90s from Bubblegum Crisis.
Very cool.
David Hutchison did that cover, and that's an interesting story there. So we licensed the first 4 issues to be chopped up and put in Antarctic Press's Planet Comics anthology, and Ben Dunn had David do that cover as an original piece for one of the issues, and I asked if we could use it in this campaign because I'm like, well, where else could it be used except here? And he said that was cool. So David did Mordanix, our cyborg cannibal, as like a watercolored cover. So we have that as well, which was kind of cool because I hate to see those things not get as much use as possible, right?
I agree, especially when they're just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's an awesome cover. So all the artists that had original artwork, including myself, all of our original art's for sale. So I have a pile of pages that you can get. All my sequential pages, covers. There's a couple pages that I rejected and then redid, so you can get kind of the cutting room floor pieces like J16.
Nice.
And the J17 were pages that we ended up not using. So I thought it was kind of like a deleted scene thing. There's some character designs and stuff like that if you want to keep scrolling. So it was fun. A lot of original art. Luigi is an artist that I found on Instagram that I really liked. He did the Zemba story. Those are all his hand-inked pages, which I thought turned out awesome. He
Yeah.
kind of has a heavy metal Mobius feel to his work.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really liked what he did. So all of his pages are for sale in the campaign. And there you can see that's when Zemba kind of snaps. She tears down the leader's painting and hits it with her whip. Kind of a little spoiler there, and that's where you realize that she's out for herself. So Sasha Chiardo is another artist that I'm a big fan of, and he did Pulse. This is the second thing that he's done for Lords of the Cosmos. He did the story Hunger for issue 4. So they're all his original pages, S1 through 17. And there's that quarry with the tower over it. There's Koi's original ink wash artwork of Zemba. And there's LC's original pencils, which really I thought were awesome. And then those are some examples of sketch covers I've done for past backers on other campaigns for the book. And so I've got a limited amount of the sketch covers that I'll do. And sometimes people say, I want this. And then other people are like, make something up. Tell me what you think's cool. So they're always fun to see what people want.
Very cool.
And then I have a stretch goal right now at 8,000. Everyone will get a sticker of Zemba as a chibi if we hit 8,000. So we'll see if we get there. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
You got a lot of time left, and you're almost you're right there at 6,000. So I think it's very possible.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then I got a bunch of add-ons for this book, and we can, I got an enamel pin. I've got model sheets of all the characters, so you can see all of them with like their size relative to each other.
Did you do all the designs?
So I did a pinup of every single character, and then I hired an artist from France that had done a lot of modeling work like this, and then I gave him all my artwork, and then he redid them all as like color models.
Nice.
And so he did those. His name was Jens. Interesting guy.
Cool.
But we really felt that over time we would need those to help artists to say, well, how tall is that person?
Sure.
What are they? What are they relative to their characters? So, a friend of mine, Steve, said that, man, you should put those as an add-on. So they're available as posters or digitals if you want to get them.
I think that's really cool. I like that a lot.
Extra covers or extra copies of books 1 through 5. So I did new covers for all the old issues, for all those back issues 1 through 4. And then there's some variations on there's different main covers. So it's like each one. So the book always had a very black cover. They looked like old role-playing games. And the writers were like, we really should freshen it up, make these things look brighter and more 80s. So I redid all the main character covers for all the back issues to match up with the new book. And my colorist, Danny, we asked her we said, just make these things look bright like the 80s. And I think she did. And you'll see those covers a little bit later in the add-ons. We have a gallery for them. But then I used all that artwork to make mugs. So I did those on Vistaprint. You can get all the new character cover arts as mugs.
Yeah, Vistaprint is actually easy to use. I love Vistaprint.
Yeah, and I did them as black and whites too, so you can get them as black and white or color mugs, which I thought was fun. And then those were all the Antarctic Press books. I got a couple extra sets if anybody wants to buy them. And there you can see the David Hutchison cover there on issue 11. So the original 4 Lords got pieced up into those books with some other people's stories, which again, it's all about finding new readers, right?
Absolutely. I was just in a comic store out here, Fourth World, and I saw Planet Comics was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool.
I've got stickers of the characters, right? Bookmarks. We're going to do a creators virtual event. We always talked about having a Lords of the Cosmos panel at a show, and we thought we'd do it online next year. So we've got that as an add-on for backers.
Very cool.
Scroll down. Yeah. And these are all the new covers for the older issues. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 Issue 1's got 2 versions, 2's got 1, and then 3 and 4 each have 2. So those are the new main covers, kind of, brighter. They all kind of look like they're candy. You should eat them. You know what I mean? Like, that looks so yummy.
It's a bag of Skittles blown up into art.
Yeah, so we really wanted to have that look about them, and I thought it looked cool. I met a lady that does gaming mouse pads, and we took the anime art and kind of diced it up and made some mouse pads. She makes them on demand. So
Cool.
this is something new to see if there's interest in getting some of these as gaming pads, which are gigantic mouse pads.
Very cool.
We've got some different nude variants of Zemba from my colorist that I thought people might want as downloads. I just hate to waste anything. It's like, well, they're there if you want them.
Very cool.
Yeah. So here's our toy sculpture. Zemba was based off of a Barbie model. And so Eric custom built an outfit and weapons for her and did her up just like the book. And then my friend Jared Brown built the digital packaging to make her look like she's on a shelf with a price tag.
Very cool.
And there's us doing our photo shoot, and there you can see the inside back cover, Phil, where there's like the stats and everything with her.
Yeah, that's cool. I like how you did that. I love it. The little synopsis, the bar graph, the weapons. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
And there's her in front of some stones in my friend's base, right? It was hard to get her to stand up, so we had to kind of like lean her into the wall, right?
Sorry, my daughter's coming to say good night. Good night.
Yo, go ahead.
Daddy,
Can you have what? Ask mommy. I'm live, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
Oh.
Sorry,
Bye-bye.
They can't see you right now. I have the. All right, you want me to show? There you go.
Bye-bye.
That's my 10-year-old.
Duggan, how
That's his 9-year-old son. This is my 10-year-old daughter. You got to get in the frame.
Bye.
All right. I love you. Go. See you later. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right, man. We're all parents. You got to say goodnight to your kids.
You got a retailer tier. That's where we left off. Sorry.
Yep. And then I always do a T-shirt or two for these campaigns. We have a Lords of the Cosmos shirts, and then I do a little Jason shirt. I kind of riff off heavy metal every time I do them. So that's a Pantera tribute snake T-shirt.
Yeah, nice. My daughter that was just in here, there's a video of her singing to Walk.
Oh, man, that's great.
Yeah, I got to find it. I'll send it to you. You'll love it.
That's a hoot.
Anyway, in your art book?
My art book, digitals of all the old stuff from the old campaigns from myself and my buddy Joe that we worked on books together. So there's kind of an old school digital out of print book pack. My coloring book project is next. So that's kind of still floating around.
Very cool.
And then what's next? And then just kind of my pledge for the campaign, no AI, all the people that worked in the book got paid, and the book's done. So it's ready to print. So
and how many pages is the book?
So it's 44 sequential interior pages. So it's like an old king size book.
Awesome.
What's 37? No, it's 44. Plus you add the covers on, that's 48. Oh. Yeah.
Nice. And how long is this an ongoing series? Is it limited to? Do you have a certain amount of issues where it'll be wrapped up? Or do you know what the ending is going to be?
Yeah, you said 10, right?
Yes. Though my 9-year-old's like, you said 10 the other day. So no, I think 10 is going to be where it wraps up. Plus an issue 0 origin issue where we find out why they call these guys the Lords of the Cosmos.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. So jump on board now, guys. You're halfway through the journey. And get the first 4 issues that you missed as well. And I mean, it's obvious that they love and put passion into this. Look at the team right there. The book looks great. I love the whole idea. I love the genre.
And there's digital and physical catch-up in the add-ons, Phil. So that's all in there too. Excellent.
If your significant other is complaining about all the space you're taking up with comics, you can go digital. All of it, all on one computer or tablet. You know, it's funny. A friend of mine, Bill Raup, who's Grok's Comics, right? Grok Comics. He had this great idea that I asked him if he would be upset if I did it as well. He said not at all. They have these flash cards that are like a credit card. Yeah. But they're USB flash drives, and you could put your art on it, any art you want. They'll custom, they'll do it for you. And he put his entire catalog on it digitally, and he sells the flash drive credit card with the beautiful art on it. His whole collection. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Interesting. That is, he actually put art on the card itself?
Well, the company that you get the cards from, you just like how you would do Vistaprint with a mug or whatever, you design it there, and they will ship you as many as you order with the art on both sides of the card. And then he himself downloaded and put on all of his content onto the card. Okay,
so he basically gets them. He gets them with images built on the physical card, but they're physically, but it's actually a blank storage device. Then he loads it however he wants.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's. I was on JD Calderon's show earlier this week, and it was a big topic of conversation of what is the future of digital comics and what are we doing as creators with digital comics. And it was a very interesting discussion we had, and that was not brought up. That's a very interesting idea to kind of merge it a little bit, where it's like I got something physical, but it's digital.
Right. And I have to give Bill credit for that. It's Bill Raup, Raupp. Good guy, and definitely a great idea. And watch that JD Calderon. He's shady. No, I'm just kidding. Now, as far as the future digital, I don't think digital is going to take over, because then you're putting CGC and all these other grading companies out of business, and that's not going to happen. You're going to kill their business. So I don't think they'll allow that to happen. I think it'll be a nice supplement, and I don't think it's going to replace physical, though. And a lot of old school people like us love physical.
I mean, this was my take on it. Like, to print a book, I have to have a digital set of proofs. So it's no extra work for me to just compile them as a PDF. Now, if you want to buy that, it's no extra work. I'm not a fan of what Comixology's turned into. Madefire was a pretty high-profile dud in the digital comics world, too. I wouldn't do extra work for a digital platform.
Right.
But it's like my mugs. I had that art done, and one of the writers was like, it'd be really cool if we had mugs. But I didn't even have to make any. They're just set up as models, and if I wanted to order, when I press a button, ship it to you.
Right.
But it didn't. It took me 20 minutes to lay out those mugs. So, I mean, to me, I'm all about using like what I've made, but not extra work. So like the PDF things to me are just gravy. If someone's like, I'd like to buy your books as PDFs. Great.
You already have it, and you got to create a file for print. You might as well do a low-res file just put together for reading. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, why wouldn't you? Why, if someone wanted to buy Tragedy as a PDF, why wouldn't you do it? I mean, it's just profit.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm with you. I don't think the customer base will ever accept it fully. Therefore, it's always going to stay physical for the vast majority of it. But I'm not going to turn my nose at digital backers.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I think it's just a good supplement, right? I mean, as consumers, we want to have options, and digital, just like whether it's magazine, trade paperback, graphic novel, or floppy, it's really just another format option for you, which I think is great. So, yeah. But the book looks fantastic. I mean, you did a beautiful job. All the artists did. I like the background. I like the setup. I like the universe. It really does bring you achieved what you were looking for as far as the aesthetics that you wanted, the feel, the genre, the era. So fantastic.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words.
Do you have other books that you work on and put out as well, or is it strictly focused on Lords of the Cosmos?
I wish I had more time to dabble with other stuff, but at this point, I'm just trying to put all my energy into like moving this series to the end, because if I start dividing my energy into too many other things, I'll never get anything done, So for me, it's my goal is to get this done. I'm going to do a double dip Indiegogo campaign with a couple extra wrinkles that'll be new to Indiegogo, just to kind of I'll have that go till the end of the year. And then, really once this campaign wraps, I'm going to take a week off and relax. And then I'm going to put an order together with my printer, and I'm going to get books. And then I'm going to start shipping them out in the mail, because I'm a big believer in like not even getting started with issue 6 until this thing is like, here you go. You bought a book, get it. I really feel that as creators, it's important to just wrap your arms around the people that paid for this stuff and get it done. And then when that's done, then mentally I'll move on to issue 6.
Absolutely. I totally understand. I was always quick to fulfill, but I'm running into printing problems right now. And the printer, you wouldn't believe me if I told you how slow they've been. I can't. I just can't. But anyway.
Well, and here's the thing. One of the biggest problems I see right now for what we're doing is the cost of printing has escalated so much in the last couple years that one of my big concerns is that are we going to hit a point where we're going to price out most of our fans? Because it's like, hey, this is just, if the price keeps going like this, Phil and Jason can't eat the cost. So you're going to say, well, now a single issue is more and more and more and more and more. And does that start to price out people? And, I'm really, really concerned for people like you and me with the affordability to even make books, that they're just going to become completely unaffordable.
Yeah, I've thought about that myself, man. I was using Comics Wellspring, and they went up. They went from $2.13 to $2.69 out of nowhere without warning. And that's the other thing, is printers don't even warn you. And then this past like 2 months ago, they went from $2.69 to $4.44 a book. They have new ownership, by the way. And I'm like, what? Who the hell can print a book for $4.44? That's insane. You can't do it, but they do. They do, and then Kickstarter takes their percentage, and part of that goal is your shipping money. So, it's a lot. But
I'll share a story with you that you'll appreciate. I love choose your own adventure books. I always thought they were cool, and there's kind of a renaissance of those on Kickstarter and some other, Indiegogo or whatever. And I bought a book from an author that's pretty well known in those circles, and it was a big book. It was like this thick. It was like a brick. And he funded the book, and it took him about a year to get it done. And then he went to print it, and then he went to ship it. And this was in the last couple years. And it was one of the biggest faux pas I've ever seen a creator do. He wrote a backer update and basically tore all of us an ass for making him lose money.
What?
Yeah, and it was like, dude, like, we all paid, you said that this cost X amount of dollars. So we all paid, and then he wrote a backer update, and it stuck with me. And I'm going to tell you how it affects this campaign, because I think about this stuff. And he basically tore all of us an ass, that we cost him a fortune and we're hurting him. And then like the next day he wrote us all an apology. He goes, I'm so sorry. That was so unprofessional. And look, I like the author, and I would never even say who it is, because I still love his stuff, and I get his frustration. But what I learned from that was, in the past, I would get these books like half done and then do the Kickstarter and then wrap it up, and it would take 8 or 9 months to wrap it up. And for this book, the book is done, printed, or test prints ready to go, right? And then what I did for the campaign was I price checked my normal printer out of Arizona ready, and then I had an additional conversation with a big offset printer where I live in Pennsylvania to say, just to say what might be better. And I took both their prices and I went with the higher price. And I'm going to make a decision when the campaign wraps which direction to go based on the amount of books sold. And then I was checking shipping prices. Like a couple days before the campaign launched to make sure it's the right price.
Right.
You know, because if you set your price up in March and you launch it in September, it could be, it's $1 more. And
See, that's what happened to me is during my campaign, they jacked it up to $444. So my prices were set at the $269, and the next thing I know, my campaign ends, and they go, "Oh, by the way, we're $444." I'm like, "What?"
And that's media mail. What was that? What that was?
I'm sorry, I was talking about the printing cost, but the shipping. When I don't do media mail because it's too risky for me. I've seen it happen where if they suspect there's one, I do have some ads in my books sometimes, and two, if they suspect there's an ad, they'll rip it open and screw things up. So I don't do media mail. I know some people do it successfully, but I don't have that kind of luck.
Media mail jacked up. A friend of mine, and you'll laugh about this. The first week of the campaign, I spoke with a friend of mine that wants to do a book, like a prose book. And he said, "What's media mail going? Like, what is it, 72 cents?" I was like, "Bro, it's like $4.65 now." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, it ain't no 72 cents, brother." And he goes, "That can't be right." I'm like, go to USPS.com. You can check it yourself. I just did. And so that's one thing that really concerns me. And I think guys like you and me, we're kind of at their mercy because, hey, Phil, it costs more. So that's one concern that I have. But my whole thing was to have this book done because after that incident with that book, and I don't condone blasting your backers. That seemed really like a poor choice. But I
don't even know how it's their fault.
I think he was just emotional and mad. He probably lost a chunk of dough, and it's your fault, Phil. It's like, Phil didn't hurt you, dude. Phil paid the $50.
Yeah, I know. Phil didn't jack up all the prices and wait a year to get it done.
And he apologized, and like I said, I'm a fan, and we all can make mistakes and lash out. But like I said, to me, it was more of a learn a lesson. Like, don't end up like this author because he took it on the chin. So now, like I said, to me, Lords of the Cosmos, this campaign would have come out a lot earlier. But because I wanted to get the book done, I wanted to cut the delay off the end. So like I said, my goal is to get this book done. I don't have other books that I want to do, although it would be fun if I had more time. And then Lords of the Cosmos 6 is about half done as it is now.
Awesome.
So really, I want to thank you. I want to get this book just done, and I want to get all my obligations to all the backers completed. And then I want to really sit down and then figure out how I can make 6 the best issue it can be. And ideally, I'd like to make it, a better issue than 5, because I think, the biggest thing that whether it's me, you, or anybody else doing this is you should try to make your next book better than the one you just did. That's always, I think, a good personal goal.
Absolutely.
Make a better book.
Absolutely. I agree. Be better tomorrow than you were today.
So that's my goal for Lords of the Cosmos 6. And then, yeah.
All right. So before we wrap things up, I'm going to give you the floor. And you are going to tell us, whoops. Do that. Tell us why we want to buy this book and why, if we haven't yet, we want to catch up and get all 5 issues.
So on the back end, the book's done. I always take care of my backers, and I'm looking forward to having a quick fulfillment on this book. And I think that's a very important backbone of these projects. Like how is the creator treating the backers? Is the book done? Is it not done? The book's done. It just needs printed, and it's ready to go. So I know as a creator, I'm going to give my backers the best possible treatment. All that being said, the series is a lot of fun. The new issue is exciting, and it really builds on the prior 4. And if you like 80s toys and cartoons, there's an extra real flavor for you that you're going to appreciate if you're of a certain age. But as I said earlier in my interview tonight with Phil, Lords of the Cosmos is a really strong comic. It's got a lot of action. It's got a lot of fun. It's got a lot of cool characters, and it's a great read. And it's fun and it's unique. And if you don't even know any of the references, it's still going to be a lot of fun. So you're going to get a great comic book that harkens back to a lot of stuff that you may have seen in some classic comics from yesteryear, and you're going to get taken care of as a backer with the practical end of it. So it's easy to get all the back issues in the campaign 1 through 4, whether you want them digital or physical, and you're going to get a great brand new issue 5 on top of it. And that's all I have to say about it. Back this book, back Lords of the Cosmos 5.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Yeah, man, I'm very happy for you. I like to see indie people doing well. I like to see, the struggle bear some fruit. And you're almost at 6,000. Let's hope that you can get there tonight. And then 16 days, man. Let's get to that $8,000 and beyond stretch goal. We want to give you free stuff if you get us there. So let's get them to 8,000 at least. 8,000 and climbing, right?
I appreciate it, Phil. Let's do it. We got half a campaign left to go, 33 days. We got 16 days left, so halfway to go. Let's do it.
Jason, I just want to say it was a pleasure to meet you face to face, sort of,
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing this funded and printed, and I'm going to check it out. And I hope you just have continued success, and everybody needs to support.
Thanks. And Phil, I just want to say I've always appreciated your enthusiasm for comics, and it's other creators like you that always put a spring in my step, because I love seeing guys that love comic books, and I know you do, and you put a lot of passion into all your work, and I appreciate you as a creator as well. So thank you. It's great to have this chat tonight.
Yeah, and anytime, man. You're welcome back anytime. I apologize. We were kind of, for those who don't know, I got out of work real late, so I was kind of flustered trying to hurry up. So next time it'll be a little easier. All right. So go back at Lords of the Cosmos issue 5 right now on Kickstarter for another 16 days. Just remember, everybody, if you're sitting there going, oh, I don't have the money, they do not collect your money until the 16 days is over and the campaign has ended. Kickstarter also has a feature now. I don't know if you've implemented it, Jason, but that there's an after campaign. It lags a little longer.
Yeah, so they're called late pledges, and I've activated that for almost all the rewards, not the early birds. So you'll be able to pick up almost everything until I shut it off.
Very cool.
It's my first time doing it, so I'm not really sure what that's like, but I think it's a change for the positive. So I hope it yields some backers that maybe just said, this is cool, but I missed everything. They said,
right.
No, they don't have to.
I agree. I also want to remind everybody, as you can see saved here, if you don't back tonight, you can hit this button. It's a reminder button. So you'll get an email at 48 hours reminding you that the campaign is close to closing. You get another one, I think, at 24 hours, and then one within several hours of the ending. So hit that remind me button if you do not hit the green back this project button right now. But again, they don't collect your money until the campaign ends. So unless you think you're not going to have the money by then, hit back this project and pledge with confidence, because Jason and the team they've done this many times before. They're reliable. They have history of fulfilling quickly and taking care of it. Like you said, the book is already done, so there's no reason really not to pledge. All right, Jason, it was a pleasure meeting you and your son. Take care. Yes. I hope you kicked butt on Fortnite.
Yes. I watch it. It'll give me rabbit ears next, right? Is that right? Dad rabbit ears.
You guys have a great night. Thanks again.
You too, Phil. Thanks so much. Have a good evening.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. I just want to remind you one last time. I'm going to play the trailer one last time. This is Lords of the Cosmos. It's issue 5. It's an epic 80s inspired comic book, as you can see. A lot of passion and love for the medium put into this. That just means it's going to be a great book. So I'm going to play this one last time, and then we'll wrap things up. StreamYard is giving me trouble. I don't know why.
Lords of the cosmos, unite! The critically acclaimed is Jason Lenox. Jason Potter, rated issue 5. Planet Aiden, a land where bad gods, undead unicorns, cannibal cyborgs, omnitrix all wage war over a world run by a planet-sized machine. Lords of the Cosmos, issue 5. Featuring 3 mind-bending on pages, classic and right. Heroes are some betraying one another, forming new dark alliances as the main storyline continues in Enemy of My Enemy. Sad is turned upside down in Introspection Collide. During the First Cosmic War, a group of Lords of the Cosmos commandos go deep behind enemy lines to discover the disciples of Umex's latest plan in Pulse Part 1, inspired by 1980s favorites like Masters of the Universe, 2000 AD, and Heavy Metal Magazine. Lords of the Cosmos 5 features a variety of unique rewards, including variant covers from Koi Fall, L.C. Freitas, Caesar, and Ignacio Ragnarsson. See why Indie Comics Dispatch says Lords of the Cosmos pulls all the nostalgia strings while also creates something new and unique. And Behold the Geek says Lords of the Cosmos is an insane sci-fi fantasy comic that takes no prisoners. Back Lords of the Cosmos.
$5,914, 127 backers, 16 days to go. Hit that green back this project button, and let's get them to that $8,000 stretch goal. All right, I appreciate all of you who come out and tune in and watch and share, and I appreciate all of you who support us as we pour our hearts out into these books. And gratitude is great with us. We really appreciate you guys. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with what I always leave you with. Be legendary and have fun storming the castle.